We've got Emma Ramadan from maybe the coolest idea for a bookstore or a bar or bookstore or bar, Riff-Raff.
Yes. Right.
And you opened how long ago?
We opened almost exactly 7 months ago now.
So 7 months ago, and you are the combination of a bookstore, an eclectic bookstore.
Yes.
And you serve drinks.
Yes, that's correct.
And where was the brainchild for this? Were you reading a book about drinks? Were you in a bar wishing to read? Like, where does this come from?
So there are a couple of other bookstore bars in the country. There's a couple in upstate New York. And in, I think, late 2016, I was up in Hudson Valley at the Spotty Dog, which is another bookstore bar, visiting. And kind of my whole life, I'd always been saying my dream would be to open a bookstore bar. Bookstores are evolving now to kind of keep up with online shopping and the competition of Amazon. And so bookstores have to find new ways to evolve. And so this trend of bookstore bars has been kind of cropping up over the past few years. And I was there for my birthday one year, and I happened to meet my co-owner, Tom, around the same time, mentioned it to him, and it turned out he'd also had the same dream for many years of opening a bookstore bar. And so it kind of just became an us project after that point.
Does a lifelong dream like this start in the 4th grade? Like when exactly does the dream of opening a bookstore bar click?
I think probably when I was in high school,
Yeah.
When you're still kind of have a bunch of romantic ideas about what your life can look like, and you know, I was in high school, I knew I was interested in books, and there's not a lot of things to do with an interest in books other than working in publishing or working in a bookstore. And working in publishing seems like the more realistic career path, but after kind of doing some internships or some you know, entry-level jobs in publishing, I knew it wasn't quite right for me, and there's a lot of kind of forced things that happen in publishing. You know, you have to promote books you don't necessarily believe in, and you have to put a lot of work into things that maybe you're not super passionate about. But when you work at a bookstore, it's all honesty. You're promoting the books that you care about. You're helping customers find something that you genuinely think they're going to care about and enjoy reading. And I just knew that that was more where my interests lie.
And what's the breakdown? First of all, we love entrepreneurs. We love this segment. Last week we had some great guests on. The week before we had the mushroom company. Like, it's all good. But, you know, as an entrepreneur, you know, you're trying to design a business model, because at the end of the day, whether you're a digital news company or a bar bookstore, we're all hardware stores, right? We're selling nails, and we have to sell enough nails to be able to turn on the lights. What have been some of the challenges of being a bookstore bar?
So I think one of the biggest challenges is that people don't necessarily know what to expect, and so when they walk in, there's this kind of uncomfortable moment of, oh, I've never been in a space like this before. What do I do? Do I need to sign in? Does somebody need to seat me? And you know, it really is just a bookstore that's also a bar. And if you've never been into our space before, it's one large kind of rectangular space that's separated in two almost by the bookshelves, but you can walk between the bookstore and into the bar, and from the bar into the bookstore. You can bring your drink into the bookstore, you can bring books into the bar. It's also, we have coffee and tea during the day, and so I think kind of getting people to understand that the space is whatever they want it to be. They can come in, they can, you know, have a cup of coffee, do some work, or they can have a drink, browse books, or they can just have a drink, and if they don't want to look at books, that's also okay. And kind of getting people to understand what a bookstore bar is or could be for them.
So you've probably had prolific drinkers, and you've probably had prolific readers. Have you ever had the combination of somebody who literally sat at the bar, drank way too much, and tried to read way too much simultaneously?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that it's ever gotten to the point of too much. I don't know that you can ever read too much. You can definitely drink too much, but we do have a lot of regular customers who will come in on, you know, a Saturday night and sit at the bar with a book and have drink after drink and read the entire book, and that's their Saturday night. And it's so lovely to see that. I love when that happens, and there's been a really beautiful kind of combination of readers and drinkers, or people who come in just because they like the cocktails, but then they happen to see a book that they like and they happen to buy it, and then they come back for more books, and this like beautiful crossover.
So let's start books.
Yeah.
What are the sections in the store, and what makes it unique? I mean, what is it that you have that I can't get at, Wayland
Books on the
Square or Brown Bookstore or Barrington Books?
Right.
What makes you unique?
So we have a little bit of everything. Our sections, we have a lot of literary fiction, we have a lot of nonfiction, we have a poetry section, a kids section, very small YA section, and Spanish language section. But there's definitely a focus on fiction, and also some art books and other little fun books. But I think we always set out to offer something that none of the other bookstores around here offer, and that consists mainly of a lot of small press titles, a lot of books in translation, a lot of political books, literary fiction that you can't necessarily find in the other stores around here. And we sort of noticed that the kind of books we were interested in, the books we were looking for, weren't being offered around here. And so it's the kind of store where if you walk into Riff-Raff, you're going to end up walking out with something that you probably never have heard of before. But we also do try to balance it. We do have a lot of bestsellers. We do have the kinds of things that are popular right now. We just try to balance it out so that if you come in thinking
So there's a wow factor.
Yeah.
There's like, oh, wow, I didn't know.
Right, exactly. So
you're
like
not going there
side by side.
exclusively for John Grisham.
Right.
Right.
Like you might go in thinking that you just want the new David Sedaris, but walking out with an obscure book of poetry and translation.
And then let's go to the bar side.
Okay.
And what makes the bar unique?
So our bar, we put, in the same way that we put a lot of care into curating our bookstore and the books that are on the shelves, and we, in the bookstore we try to have a lot of marginalized writers of color, things that, are underrepresented. We try to do the same on the bar side, so we try to bring in a lot of interesting beers or ciders that you can't necessarily find at your other local bar in the city or the state. And we have an artisanal French cider that's pretty cheap, but it's delicious, and no one else is selling it right now. Or we have these cocktails that we put a lot of effort into crafting and coming up with new recipes every season, and we come up with everything mostly ourselves with our bartenders. And we try to keep all of our prices really low and reasonable.
Do they have literary names?
They don't have literary names. Every now and then we'll do kind of a special where we incorporate books into the cocktails. But we're trying to kind of fight this image of a bookstore bar being something pretentious.
Yeah.
And so we try to keep everything.
You're not going pretentious.
We're trying very hard not to go
Pretentious has so much value. You can charge more if you're pretentious.
We want to be a space for everyone. We want to be a community space. And not everyone can afford a $12 or $13 cocktail, and this isn't New York City. And if we can offer something that's really good and really special for a reasonable price, why not do that and make everybody feel welcome?
How has it been getting the word out? I know when I think we reported on you super early, right when you were opening, and I think for anybody, a bookstore or a bar or a restaurant, you get a bunch of love at the very beginning. How do you sustain that and kind of keep information flowing and keep the buzz going?
Right. I think that's been a challenge for us because we're so tucked away. Yeah. We're in Olneyville. We're in this courtyard. And when you walk into the courtyard, it's like this beautiful oasis, but it is a little hard to find, and getting the word out has been tough. But social media is really powerful right now, and also I think what's really great about being in Providence, and something that happens with a lot of businesses around here, is that businesses team up and do things together.
Right.
And so we just on Saturday had a pop-up with Fountain & Co., which is a local ice cream maker. And they came and sold ice cream out of our store, and so the people who follow them then came into our store. And those collaborations with other local businesses in Providence are really special and have been really vital in getting the word out.
And from running a business, had you ever run a business before?
No.
No. So what's been the most interesting learning experience?
I think I didn't quite understand the hours of being a bookstore and a bar.
Right. Welcome to the world of never sleeping.
Right, because we're open bookstore hours and bar hours. So we're open 11 a.m. to midnight, and that takes a toll, and you don't have a lot of recharge time. And then the other thing I think is when people come in and maybe express that something wasn't exactly what they were expecting it to be, or if you see any little criticism on the internet, my immediate instinct is to say, okay, let's fix it. Let's change everything so that this one customer is satisfied. And I think understanding that, patience and being okay with not everybody liking every little detail of the space is okay, and that we believe in what we're doing, and we know that we are affecting other people, and other people are having a really positive response to what we're doing, and letting the positivity affect us as much as the negativity.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we produce 30 articles and videos a day on average, so needless to say, because we cover all aspects of news and politics and lifestyle and everything, everyone is not pleased with everything that gets posted, to put it mildly.
Right.
And they're not shy about expressing that over and over and over again. There's one who says, blah, blah, blah. Hello, dummies. So what's been the greatest sort of reaffirmation of the vision? I mean, what's been the thing that you go, this is why we did it?
We have been very pleasantly surprised at how many regular customers we have, and how many we had from the jump, and seeing that there are certain people in this community that really connect with the space and go there all the time and bring their friends and buy books and drink and kind of do the best of both. Has been really special, and every time we see a familiar face or a repeat customer come in, it just kind of fills my heart with this light of, oh, this person liked our space enough to come back, and comes back pretty much every week, and that it's become a place in their lives, and that's been really important.
What's been the biggest ticket? Has it been book driven? Has somebody gone in and bought $1,000 worth of books, or has anyone gone in and brought a big party in and spent $1,000 a drink?
I don't know that anyone's run up $1,000 tab just yet. We might during our wedding weekend, but I think every now and then we host private events for local groups, and that's always a big uptick for us, and also makes us feel good because we're working in partnership with another community group, and maybe hosting a Christmas party or something along those lines, and so that's probably been our biggest boom. But also, every now and then we get a customer who comes in who we really don't expect to walk out with anything, and then they come up to the register with a stack of 20 books, and that's really great.
Are you having authors in and book signings and readings?
Yeah, so we started in June. So, this is June. We started in May doing events, and so less so than readings, we more have discussions, so it'll be an author in conversation with someone local in the community and talking about their book and maybe doing a brief reading, and we've done, I think, 5 so far, and that's been great.
Yeah, those are great. I think everybody connects to them, and especially if it's exposure to somebody that you can't get to any other way.
Right.
We've had a slew of people from Ben Mesrick to AJ Finn Skype in on different, top writers in the world, and it's just been wonderful to see the reaction in social media. What's your advice to other folks thinking about launching businesses? And then we'll get into the nitty-gritty of sort of how you launched it. But what's your advice?
I think my advice is to know what it is you're trying to do, and to trust in your own vision and not get distracted or get discouraged by what other people might have to say about it, and just pursue it and stick to it and be patient with yourself and with the community and with your business. And if you know that what you're doing feels right to you, and that you're doing what you set out to do, then just hold fast and stick to it and stay focused on that.
That's great. You got some financing to put this whole thing together, and you scrapped together the change out of your couch and all that kind of stuff. Who helped you out in putting together the financing?
So we put in all of our personal savings, of course, and we also had some small investments from people in the community, and then we had a loan from the Community Investment Corporation in partnership with the SBA here and the Commerce Corporation.
Great. And that worked out pretty well.
Yes.
And you said that was not the worst process in the entire world.
No, that process was pretty smooth, and it was great because it meant that we started our business. When we opened, we had money in the bank, and so that we had a marketing budget, and we were able to not panic if something went wrong and we had to fix things. It gave us a sense of security.
And the city was more complicated.
The city of Providence is not the easiest to open a business in,
Yeah.
Which I'm sure is not a surprise to anyone.
No, it's not a surprise to absolutely anybody.
Yes.
You've officially joined the chorus of everyone who runs a business in Providence.
Yes.
Last thing, kind of Ben, what's the thing that you just walk out and say, this is why I love what I'm doing?
I think it makes me feel really good to be able to talk to a customer in the store and put books in their hands or give them a drink that they enjoy. If anyone who comes in and I'm able to give them what they're looking for and maybe have a really great conversation with them and feel that much more connected to the community and what we're doing here, those kind of little mini interactions on a day-to-day basis with customers just make me feel.
So are you paying off the dream?
Am I paying off the dream?
Yeah.
Are we?
The dream that you had when coming up with the concept?
Yeah, I mean, it feels like exactly what I imagined it would be in a lot of ways, and in some ways it doesn't feel that way, but on the whole, that kind of like one-to-one interaction with people and being able to show people what we've created feels like I thought it would be.
Well, listen, congratulations so much on the vision, on doing it. As I say, everybody I think has in their heart of hearts dreams of starting a business, and everyone's frustrated working for the man, and now you have no one to blame because you are the man. But congratulations, it's a super cool concept, and this is the right city to do it, and I think you're going to be wildly successful. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
We're going to be right back with our next guest, and appreciate you tuning in. We'll be back in less than 30 seconds. Thank you.